this creature. It's magnificent. The wings, the way it's such a the tempo, the cadence that it flies from place to place. The sounds it makes has harmony. The forest. Then we don't have these where I'm from. It's beautiful that nature, life finds a way to always create beauty. Lakes that seem to almost grace the ground with its presence.
Oh, that's a southern locust.
You
Terribly invasive.
ignorant asshole.
What the hell, Jonas? Do you know what these things do to plot a farmland?
Now I begin my rites.
It's true.
He starts putting stones around it and
But that's also the best way to deal with after killing it. You have to pray for it.
Yes, join me in your
Really
ignorance.
come back. Do you know what we do in Andersville? You get like 20 of these, you get a shot of whiskey for taking them out.
But after you pray over all 20, cut their eyes out and sacrifice them to Groom.
You are no, not Groosh. Life.
Usually come
I'll do that one. You got the first one.
Okay.
There's a few.
Whisper, look at these mouths. I give you stones to start making altars around them.
They're pack hunters.
Is this?
Crunch.
We must pray.
Is that fun? No! Jonas! Oh my god! Girls, can you believe this? He showed me dead bugs!
Believe it. No local predators!
Oh, I hate them. They make me...
Whisper, look at me right in the eyes. You see one of these, you stomp it. You stomp it down.
I'm gonna throw up. Stop! I'm gonna...
You stomp it dead. You say that back to me right now. You stomp it dead.
I'm gonna stomp you dead if you don't stop talking to me.
You know what you shouldn't stomp dead? Goblin's Notebook.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? True.
Facts.
Still, you should definitely use that code and that link to head over and get your subscription to a really cool virtual notebook where you can keep track of all of your TTRPG stuff like campaign information, maps, monsters, NPCs.
You mean https://www.the-goblin.net /
That is
and use the code
exactly
Lizards20?
it. You should
Wow.
use the code Lizards20 because
Like
it
poetry.
gets you 20% off. And it supports a really cool fella over in the UK.
Yeah, I've mentioned before in previous stuff, but I use their shit all the time for my preps for DMing. Built my whole world of Drasinger in it.
Support our
It's a
friends.
very
and
nice.
support us by heading over to our social media at Bluesky, Instagram, Mastodon, sort of kind of Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon, where you can find all sorts of fun, homebrew, awesome stuff.
Intro. Okay, welcome to Lizards and Locations presents Pillars of Creation. Last time, we got... what's the word? Dimension junted because you threw a super-powered dragon orb-infused golem man into a bunch of lava and shit happened. You woke up with some kobolds kind of just poking you with sticks, I guess.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We were defenestrated.
Yeah, they threw you out the
Dimensionally
dimensional window. Were there a window to be thrown out of? You were thrown out of it.
I don't know what that word means.
Stop it. Stop it right
On
now.
this one, you're well educated.
Sure.
I'm
Whisper would know what defenestration is. And she would be proud to know. Because it's all she's proud of everything. Pride is like her main thing.
correct, but also, what's my intelligence? Okay, it's enough. Shucks.
Damn it! Why did I make a character that knows things? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I wanted moments of clarity, not constant clarity.
So yes, you guys met a collection of mismatched kobolds, color-wise. Usually kobold tribes are pretty uniform. This one is made up of divergent coloring and different temperaments as well.
They're the dudes.
They're the men.
The knights.
Not exclusively. I don't know what the... Is there a kobold spread for like what percentage of male to female? I don't even
Not
know.
that I know of. It would be dependent on your world, right? So
I suppose so.
yeah.
I hope it's like Slandit.
That would be pretty funny.
And there's just one giant kobold female.
That would be insane. Unfortunately, if there was a giant kobold female like matron, then they wouldn't really have the society of gravitating towards dragons and dragonborn, or lizardfolk, or other larger lizards.
Here's the thing. They're too stupid to know the difference between a matron kobold
And a dragon.
and a dragon.
I kinda
They're
like-
not that dumb.
I kind of like the idea of
I
their
like-
draconic
I
just
like it a
sounding
lot.
like Salamence, so like.
We know that call because I went shiny hunting, and he was like, what are you doing? Because all I can hear from your switch is
Yes, Cybermen.
I mean, they do have that kind of like chittering like voice because they're smaller and like that. So yeah,
Nasally almost.
I mean, nasally implies that like they have like it's like this.
Yeah.
It's like this. I can do different voices. I don't. Anyway. I believe you Whisper bossed them into showing them to their leader. And that's where we ended last session. So we can pick up right there.
Man, I'm about to write down some kobold biology things because I am inspired right now.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
He is. He's gonna stop. Don't let him.
Stop me now, because I'm having a good time.
So they're leading. We're currently still in the forest, though, right?
You are in a forest.
Yeah.
Yes. You're not quite sure where you
We
are.
couldn't find the orb, and
The orb is gone.
one of us was carrying the body of
Siamtok.
Siamtok.
Yes, he was unconscious still.
Okay, I'm assuming that would probably be Whisper that would be carrying
Mhm.
Siamtok. Okay.
Yep,
Mold assumption.
like a sack of potatoes.
I'll kind of go over to Dez and just kind of whisper, "Did you see the orb?"
No. Let's see where it went.
I did not either.
I mean, I assume it's got to be. Well,
You think it's inside the Dragonborn?
possibly. Sometimes it comes out.
Good. Yes. You're good at taking out orbs.
What?
Like.
Eyes are also
surgically-
considered the orb to the soul.
Oh yeah, fuck. I'm good at that.
Maybe that is how we do it. Yes.
Just
You
come.
want me to cut his eyes out? I mean, I'm good for it.
Well, it will create a orifice for us to.
That's not. What
Would you prefer the anus?
I think that might get you closer to where you want to go than the eye socket.
It is fair.
I mean, yeah,
There you.
this is getting a bit much even for me.
Do you expel from your mouth?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you expel from your mouth?
I talk from my mouth.
What else can I do?
I vomit from my mouth. And from my butthole.
You vomit from your butthole?
Yes, the shit.
Oh, I don't, just not cold vomiting.
You call it shit.
Well, we don't need to get into particulars.
See, one is emetic.
Great conversation.
Probably. is-
Excellent conversation. This is what I get for allowing my characters to speak.
I didn't do it.
And yet here we are.
Now, I do have a question. From the last session, do we somehow get a rest in?
That's why I asked. He said no.
No resting. You were dimensionally shunted into the material plane. It was a not very restful event, and then you were awoken by Jonas basically immediately upon, regaining the ability to regain consciousness. And you can even see Siamtok, you would not say that he is resting right now. He is fucking out.
He's not resting because my shoulder isn't.
Pepperjack, by the way. I didn't want to interrupt you. Let's wait till you're done talking. Because I know you don't like spicy, so.
I can do pepper jack.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's got the fucking bullshit.
Unless it's ghost pepper jack.
Normal pepper jack.
I deal with ghost pepper jack like a goddamn heathen. Anyway. You are led deeper into the forest. We have already done a little bit of survival skills to try and make sure to see if you guys could determine where you are. I think you guys all pretty much failed those. Not to be rude, but you were very disoriented, and it's a familiar situation. So
I roll.
it was a pretty high roll. It was a pretty high DC in order for you to know where you are, because imagine you were just teleported to a random place in the world, and you're like, oh, where am I?
Let Tally ho.
You are tally-hoing slowly through a forest.
I'm gonna. Well, is it like an?
Are we still on intro, or are we playing?
Is it like a? Are there
No,
reasonable
it's
landmarks as we
interesting.
as we walk through the forest of where we came from versus where we're going?
Just dive right in.
Or is it just kind of like the same sort of trees? You could get lost pretty easily in this
You
forest.
could very easily get lost in this forest.
Okay.
It is a pretty deep wooded area, though. The area you first found yourselves in was pretty much
Was it like a clearing?
it was a clearing in the same way that a crop circle is a clearing, and that was basically blown apart.
I would like to then, in that case, I'd like to leave little tags as we go along.
Okay,
Like
what do those tags look like? Give me some flavor here.
You pull a piece of bread out.
it's more like so I'm trying to think of
It gets eaten immediately by a bird.
right.
Fantasy bread. Or fairy tale
In my head I'm thinking it's like a little piece of cloth or something that I have like a little sharp edge and I just stick them into like a tree or something and just go along every 30 feet or so. I just kind of stick something
Okay.
in a tree.
Hmm. Why would? Okay, so this is like a piece of cloth that you're ripping out.
Yeah, it's like, or maybe this is better. Maybe I just use the chalk that I have.
Okay.
I just mark a little it's just something it does. You wouldn't be able to if you were looking for it if you're just looking at the tree, you probably wouldn't see it. But if you were looking to see if there was marks, you'd be like, oh, there's the mark, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it's in this kind of the same elevation every time.
Mhm.
I just kind of make a little mark.
Okay.
Sure. What else?
Okay. Well, make a note of that then.
Okay.
As you are being led through the forest, Des marking the trees, Whisper carrying Siamtok can still, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a sack.
Yeah, and you can tell as you're marking the trees, he's bringing you, when I say he, the group of kobolds are kind of leading you to the right, to the left, winding around a little bit. You can tell that I'm not gonna make Des roll for this. Other people can roll for it if they would like to, but Des can tell they're intentionally trying to be misleading and hide the way to where they're going.
I'll say Jonas is probably pretty alert, so would I roll for that? He's
Roll
probably
a-
trying to pay attention.
Yeah, roll a survival check.
Natural 1 plus 2, so 3.
You get distracted by birds because you're like, oh, what is that bird? There's just a bunch of things you haven't experienced before.
Beautiful.
So while you're trying to concentrate, you fail miserably at doing that, and instead are distracted by every single bird sound that you hear.
I clocked that, Stacy. John doesn't like birds, Stacy. John is beautiful creatures. Just like the sharks and dolphins I see.
Shabbos is...
Try.
All right, so you couldn't find your way back to the tree that you passed like 2 minutes ago, let alone to the clearing.
Based.
This is a very direct path. They were taking us.
So direct.
You can make a nature check to try and like have a mental map of of where they're going, and like just trying to remember like where each thing is. I made it a survival check, of course. So make it a survival check.
I might be paying attention now that you guys have said something, but I wasn't before.
I'm not sure if they have said anything yet.
They totally did. They said direct path.
No. Well,
And then Des responded, yeah. And
Now,
so
I have a
Whisper's like,
question.
if you want to, well, before we do that, if you want to do that, go ahead. If you're going off of the information that they're doing a direct path, you're gonna have disadvantage.
no. John just went, what a direct path. And then Des went, yeah. And she went,
So, I forget
direct
how we were doing this for other things, but if you're using thieves' tools and you're proficient with thieves' tools to open a door,
Mm-hmm.
you get advantage for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because you're using the tools and you're proficient with both the tools and the...
Right, unless the thing you're trying to do is the tools are required, in which case I don't think you would get advantage. You would just get the ability to do that thing. So like you can use thieves' tools to do like certain things that like aren't specifically needed thieves' tools to do.
Right. I guess what I'm asking is, so if I was trying to get a lay of the land and pay attention to where we're going flat,
Mhm.
I'd be like, okay, yeah, straight roll. But because I'm deliberately marking and I can track the markings there, do I get advantage to...
Tracking the markings would give you advantage on the way back while you're using them. Right now, what you're trying to do is memorize the map internally without the need of the markers. Like the markers are kind of like a backup.
an assistant?
Right. So like that would be if you're trying to make your way using the markers. That would be then you would get advantage.
I would say maybe if you had like proficiency with photography tools and you're like using cartography.
Oh,
Sure, that would.
okay.
Yeah, I would buy
Yeah,
that.
that's fair, yeah.
You could absolutely sell that to me.
If your
Yeah.
bestie was an expert,
I
at
only have
survival,
thieves to
had
proficiency,
guidance.
but that is a cool idea.
But no, I like that idea.
But you can cast guidance. You don't have to.
I don't know.
they have to tell.
Yeah, I can't just be like, I'm feeling like Des can use
You know,
some guidance
amazing.
right
I
this
never
second.
do that in BG3
Natural
though.
20 for a 20. This is survival?
Mhm.
For 25.
Okay. Wow.
It's okay.
For our first 2 checks are a natural 1 and a natural 20. If
We
only,
are balance.
if only that mattered. Anyway. Yeah, 25. You can tell the difference enough of like where they're going and like how we like which like this okay right around here we do that so you can you're keeping track of it in your mind. You're doing a very good job. 25 is a very high roll,
Mhm.
as you can imagine.
I think I'm also like in between paces to the next tree that I'm marking. I'm like taking like maybe 2 words. Like I'm just kind of like jotting on this. Like, well, maybe not every single time between the 30 feet, but like any kind of significant markers, I might be jotting down.
So they can see you writing.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, that's a good point. I probably wouldn't want them to.
Yeah, if you can do that, make a sleight of hand check to try and make it hidden. Because if they see you writing something down, they're gonna get a
That's
little.
true. Well,
trippy.
I would think actually Des would be smarter than I am in this case and probably not do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, the thing is, like, because you rolled so well in the survival check to keep track of it, like you're keeping mental track.
yeah, she's probably just like. No,
So you don't
it's all-
need to write it down.
It's all up here.
Yeah.
That's true. Fair enough.
Still dropped.
Steel trap. Right here.
Were you gonna try to? Were
We're
you
just
trying to
keeping a
do
mental
anything, or-
log as we walk along, and I'm
Apparently don't.
apparently very, very at least have the perfect map in my head as far as
Honestly, let's roll what?
Survival.
Survival, yeah.
just to see how bad it. Yeah, shit. Me and Giannis lost.
What'd you roll?
Natural 5
Show me up.
plus survival. Let's see here. I know it's not proficient.
No, I can't imagine it would be.
1, 6.
Double my score.
What's an 18 get?
Let's go.
Well,
You see twice as many.
first of all, a 6. You even you can be kind of looking at Jonas like we've turned like 6 times. What do you mean it's a direct bet? Anyway, but you don't have to say it out loud. But like you're in your mind, you're just like
High roll.
X'd it out. An
Yeah,
18?
X'd it out no further.
Yeah. An 18. You could make your way back if you needed to, but you're not like familiar with. Like it's still unfamiliar. Like you have a general sense of where you're going, but not like you couldn't like be like, okay, we took a turn here, we took a turn here, we took a turn here. The most optimal way to get back to the location would be to go through like,
Yeah.
and that's what Des could basically like go through all of that and be like, okay, instead of doing like this, we can just like bam.
Take a left at the second sycamore.
Yeah. It's like
Second what? Second what I marked.
true. Yeah. Des is just able to find the optimal way back. You can find your way back slowly, but you know you could do it.
Yeah.
That's what an 18 gets you.
I just really wanted to roll since we were all roll.
No, I feel it. I feel you.
I get that.
It feels good to roll the math rock. All right. So takes about 45 minutes of twisting, turning, trying to throw you guys off. More successful with some than others.
Huh?
Some getting distracted by a pretty rock he found.
That's me. You're getting distracted by birds. I'm getting distracted by rocks.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm like, oh, this would be such a cute earring. It's just a rock.
Never thought of making a bird into an earring. It is...
I use the feathers.
Ah.
Silly.
You can stick a bone through a hole.
Oh.
Do you eventually find yourself
What is
to
bird piercings?
a small crop of trees that seem to be bent slightly more than natural? Like they kind of like bent towards each other, almost like they're covering an area. And as you kind of go through that, you can feel the ground kind of like lowering, and it's almost pitch dark at this point. So like, they have low light vision. The dragon does not.
I do not.
I think everyone else does, or the human does not.
Me and Whisper are SOL.
I believe Adi and Jonas have low light vision.
Yeah.
Or
We've got dark
whatever her name
vision
is.
120.
Dark vision. Okay.
Yeah, dark vision as well.
Do you guys want to do anything about the darkness, or are you guys just gonna be like,
I'm
you're
not
just?
walking into total darkness.
What do you mean it's dark?
I assume that Des is going to do something
It's not
that she
com-
always does, but I do put a hand on Jonas until she does. My seeing
that's
eye
just gonna
strength.
fucking take out a torch.
Kobolds are like,
You hear a few like, and
Rabble, rabble, rabble.
then they kind of like calm down because like, alright, fair enough.
That's just like,
the Whisper,
please
unneeded
everybody.
and unprompted, sidles up to you and goes, yeah, they don't like the torch.
Oh, I don't need translation for that.
It was more they were surprised because this kind of like did it without making any like announcement. So suddenly you made a movement and then had fire. It was like, oh, what the fuck?
How dare you make a movement and then have fire?
Yeah, Whisper will kind of be like, yeah, sorry, can't see.
Jonas will like reach into his backpack.
It's very strange that you don't have low light vision, but they do.
I'm inferior.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, don't tell them that.
They'll get very upset.
He'll pull out a lamp and like kind of open it up to Des to light it,
Oh yeah.
and then he'll hand that over to Whisper.
Thank you. So much more civilized. It's literally on the character sheet. She's vain.
Does like mid drop. What's wrong with my shit?
Well, it stinks for one.
Fucking
Jonas will just be like, my eyes have adjusted to the deep sea.
Well, now you're in deep bush.
I've heard Addie say that before.
It's the best place to be, really. Let's be honest.
Who's bush?
One does not simply adjust to the deep bush.
Merited.
Oh, wow.
Good boy.
Not the deep bush.
Andersville's finest, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that's the title for this episode.
The deep
Deep
bush.
bush.
Everyone's finest deep bush.
Andersville's finest deep bush. Yeah. Andersville's finest Mordor reference. Alright. Now that you're within this, now increasingly underground area, because now the trees have kind of given way to rocks and dirt and like this, maybe 6-foot tunnel. It's if it is 6 foot, it's just barely. So they are kind of leading you down there. Whisper may need some help transporting Siamtok if you guys are going to keep bringing him along,
Oh, I got you, girl.
because it's a small tunnel. It's for kobolds, so
I can help with carrying.
I'll allow it.
I can help carry. Grabs by the ankle, just the ankle, so the other foot's still dragging.
Picks up single toe.
Use your as its head hits rocks.
Just thinking like he's like kind of getting held like this or something. But
No,
the
I
foot's
have
just, like,
both
dragging.
shoulders.
Oh,
Because I
Has he protested at all? Yeah.
who?
Same time.
He's unconscious.
Okay.
he can't protest.
He's mostly dead.
He's super unconscious. Like I'm pretty sure last session you tried to wake him up and it didn't work.
Wet Willy, no reaction.
I remember I had like I had like a trident at his throat ready just in case
Yeah.
he tried doing
I
something.
don't think you guys used healing magic
No, we
or
didn't.
anything on him.
No.
You just tried to wake him up normally and it didn't work.
Would be used
Yeah.
healing.
Because
to
I
wake him
love
up.
to heal people.
Correct.
If you wanted to wake up, that would be your best bet. But
I got one spell left. I'm not using it on healing him.
yeah. Okay.
How tall is the? So you said we'll need to carry him with 2 people because it's built for kobolds. How tall are the ceilings?
Like 6 foot. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if
I'm
it is
ducking.
6 foot,
Oh,
it's
so
barely
it's
6
like,
foot.
Like so, my hat is kind of like
Yeah.
skipping. on
Like you
top
guys,
of
like
it.
that's the reason why I'm saying that is because you're basically gonna have to like crouch down to do that, and I imagine crouching and also carrying another whole ass person would be rather difficult.
Yeah.
I have to crouch extra low because if I don't, my horns will catch it. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
Des kind of like takes her hat off and like lets it kind of sit on her back. So really, it's like her head has like a couple inches before it hits
Mhm.
the.
And it's not like it's a level thing. It's like there's just like a bunch. It's like a
Yeah.
rough tunnel. So yeah, the kobolds can get through it just fine, but you guys are having a bit of an issue because you are larger than kobolds.
What?
Lies.
that's crazy talk.
What?
I'm the most giant orc, so actually it makes sense.
You hear them chatter a little bit to Whisper, telling her that watch your footing for traps. And you can, and Whisper, now that you've been told that, you can kind of see as you go through the tunnels, there are little like indents and little holes in the rock where you can see traps have been set up.
Hey, watch your step. They say there are traps.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
And I'll point them out to Jonas because he doesn't have much of a dexterity thing. So I'm just like, that one,
Yes.
that one.
She has like slowly like lifting Siamtok over those pressure plates and like over the and like around the pitfall areas. It's rough going for a bit. It takes you quite a while to get through this initial entrance tunnel. Fortunately, once you get a little bit deeper in, it starts to open up a little bit wider, and you can hear other chattering echoing through this like a cave structure. So like now it's gone a little bit less dirt, a bit more solid rock, and a bit more solid footing as well. And like, as you get farther and farther in, you see less traps, but the traps you do see tend to be getting more and more dangerous. Like there's one where Des would probably be able to tell it was a pitfall trap, but the pitfall was like slanted towards a different direction, which would be, and then like the area where it was slanted, like the rocks looked a little bit precarious. So it's like a pitfall trap that was supposed to collapse in on itself when it goes off.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Clever.
Lots of that, and then let's see. What's everybody's perception? Des and Adi, you can also smell. You can smell something. I want you to make a history check. See if you can remember the smell of this. And Des, you'll get advantage on this.
I hope it's Andersville's finest tobacco.
This is a what check?
Perception.
Perception?
Or history, I'm sorry.
History. 16.
6.
Adi, you can't place the smell.
So familiar.
Des, like it's on the tip of your tongue, but you've definitely smelled this before. And like you're just gonna think, and then after a moment it clicks, and it's a byproduct of distilling alcohol. It is extremely flammable, but not drinkable. So very dangerous, very just basically a quick starter for fires. And you can smell it kind of like seeping out of some of the I say holes, but like some of the
Holes.
some of the holes that you can recognize as traps.
Yeah. Wash your fire spells in this place. Could make it.
Why?
Oh, because
Good to know.
Okay.
that's what you're smelling.
Right.
Okay. Now that you guys are in the larger,
Frankly, she's smelling that. She's like, damn, all go up in flames. Make me thirsty.
so they lead you farther and farther into this cave complex, and this cave is basically like a gigantic hollowed out area. Like you didn't see any like large mountains in this area, but this is definitely what you would consider like almost like a quarry of like pure like solid rock that's been like carved out of this this area. Very roughly, very like kind of crude, but definitely made by somebody who did it on purpose. So you see a few different slots kind of carved into the ceiling where light is now pouring through. So this is at least illuminated a little bit to where like if you don't have low light vision, you can still see somewhat. And you can see a bunch of kobolds just kind of like staring. And by a bunch I mean like dozens and dozens and dozens of kobolds that are
Like on the side watching us.
well, like on the side, they're like scattered throughout this large cavern.
Yeah.
And you can see that there are other tunnels that are leading out of this cavern. And then there's a larger tunnel opposite of where you came in. It's about 10 feet tall, 10 feet wide, like this, like an almost oval. Like it's obviously meant to be a passageway to somewhere important, and that's where they're leading you. And you can kind of tell, like you can see little flickers of firelight coming from this area, kind of implying that the light doesn't reach this area from the surface as it continues to go down a little bit farther. And you see a couple of kobolds, a bit larger than the rest. These ones have wings, and you can tell like they have like this. Intricate isn't quite the word you would use, especially Whisper would kind of like scoff if it was described as intricate, but it's definitely more ornate than the kind of rough armors that the people the kobolds that are bringing you in would be. It's almost like a guard, the royal guard situation, and they kind of like
Whisper wouldn't call it intricate, but you would go, oh.
How do they? So Des is like paying
Totally
attention to a
still
lot of this stuff.
wearing
How do they like regard when they see Whisper and see him tuck?
a lot of whispering, a lot of like you can't tell what they're saying because they're kind of like talking to each other in low voices.
I mostly mean like, so I know I can't understand the language, but like, what about like expressions? Like, do they have like a
Body language.
Are they kind of like squinting? Or are they like kind of like whoa? Are
They're kind of like whoa. They're very surprised because one, there's two Dragonborn which they hold in basically reverence.
do they kind of stiffen up when Whisper comes by?
I don't know if they step up. They more like retreat.
Okay.
You notice that Whisper has never had her chin so high. And all the time you've known her, she usually has her nose upturned, but she's just like royalty right now.
It's
She's like the hottest I've ever seen.
it's less like a commander going through a barracks and more like people shying away from a warlord almost. Like they're going to be like backing up, like giving their space, trying to like not to make themselves too noticeable.
This is different than what I've experienced.
You mean in the sewer tunnel?
No, just, I was royalty and I wasn't seen this way.
Oh no, I meant like the first encounter we had with kobolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we know.
It wasn't a slight to
Yeah.
where he grew up.
That was insane.
I royalty's treated differently.
Hmm.
I am kind of playing it out, but
It's more of how they react to royalty. They seem scared. They should feel
are you not?
safe and protected.
Think about who you're
Can't
talking
be
about,
able
she
to-
says, kind of pointedly looking at Sam Tuck.
Just fair.
I will say that hasn't been my impression of kings and queens.
I
It's
mean,
interesting.
should be a little scared of the noble, like, because they kind of send people out to die.
The noble serves. They fight in the front line, which it should.
Oh,
Depends
that's
on the
also
noble.
not my impression of kings and
That's
queens.
how war works. Yup.
Depends on the noble.
It's always armchair monarchies, sitting away, watching it all unfold.
Just interesting. Is that typical for all surface dwellers?
It's just
Many.
typical in my experiences. I haven't seen really much different. I mean, I kind of box them in the same thing,
We
anyways.
can't all be Ferdinand von Eyre.
I am Ferdinand von Eyre.
Ferdy! So, one of my favorite things in Three Hopes is when you use his word special. He just yells, "I'm Ferdinand von Eyre," and just fucking explodes.
I said!
And then his special ability is called Name Drop.
Great.
Anyway. Anyone else have any questions before we go to,
I'll probably talk to
Mayor.
Whisper and just. Do you know? Could you ask them how much further to their leader? We've traveled quite a distance. I'm worried that we might be behind kobold lines.
Oh, we're down.
You're worried about that? Oh, honey.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just now started worrying?
Well, there's no more birds.
The second we entered this tunnel, baby boy.
You know what? That's fair.
You know,
That's a good
Dennis
observation.
takes a long drag. She's like, well, shit if you ain't right.
I love that you're smoking in a thing where you
fire?
absolutely know that there's flammable
Oh, yeah.
about.
100%.
I like the idea that we all looked at each other and we went, yeah.
Well, she's got a fucking torch, too, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, she's like, that's that smell. Watch your fire.
Lots of torch. That's how we do it in Andersville, right?
The bullseye lanterns, they have like a.
Des in modern times,
A cover,
car
right?
still
It's
running,
direct.
fueling
You can
up,
direct the light if you
and
want
smoking
to.
next to it.
I don't know if that'd be any safer or not, but
I mean, it all goes up.
I mean, it's the lantern itself is a covered flame, so that in itself is more
more safe.
is safer than a torch,
Yeah.
which is just a damp like a freaking
Depends on if
oil-soaked
it's a
rag
gas or a liquid
on
that's
fire.
gonna light on fire.
Now, for your first question, where you were asking if we're close to their leader, I
Yes.
assume that this area where the sunlight doesn't touch is probably going to be our final destination.
So not the Lion King.
No.
The Leonin King.
Looks over. There's like these iron holders for like big logs. Yeah, it looks like a final destination.
Stop. All of you are unbelievable today. Especially you.
That's right. Anyway, as you guys walk into this hallway that's goes from this rough hewn rock into a bit more of a carved rectangle, and this looks a bit more. It looks more and more like skilled hands were used to create this. And as you guys are going through, you can see that these the flickering that you thought was firelight seems to be flickering out from several gleaming gemstones, and there are different colors of each one. There's one that's like a dark gem that kind of glitters with a purple light. There's red and yellows and blues and like all the different colors that you might find a chromatic dragon. And you can see as well gold, silver, brass, and bronze. They're not quite as stark of a difference as the chromatic ones, but
They're
they
not
are
picky.
represented nonetheless. And as you can see, these quote-unquote torches kind of lead into this larger room where a throne might be a bit of a stretch, but a large chair, a large I guess a throne is really the only way to describe it, but it's a very humble throne. But on it sits a kobold that is quite large, winged, and covered in what Whisper would call ornate
That's what I'm fucking
armor.
talking about.
And like you can see this armor, the trimmings kind of glisten from gold to silver to brass, and then the cloth, the main body parts, have this mismatched black, red, blue. Like all the chromatic things are represented, and then it's kind of like this, almost like an eyesore of a kaleidoscope effect that this armor has. And though hard to look at, it is very striking, and this kobold that you can't quite tell what color it is underneath all of this armor kind of like regards you, and like you see its wings kind of like tense as it sees two dragonborn being brought to it. And he almost doesn't like regard anybody else. He kind of just stares directly at Whisper and Samtok. Like, even with Adi kind of like dragging it behind, kind of like looks right past Adi.
That's about right.
And Whisper can hear him kind of like hiss, "What is the meaning of this?" After a bit of there's a bit more chatter as the kobolds kind of explain that they found you in a clearing that has been blasted out of the woods, and you can kind of see his eyes kind of like squinting through his like prismatic helmet, basically, because it has all that gilded, it has all of the patchwork, and it has gems kind of like studded around its rim and through the horns that adorn it. And he is just staring daggers at Whisper.
Can't tell if he's mad that I'm here because he's spooked by a dragonborn, or if it's because I'm metallic. But,
Des is gonna whisper like,
You go.
I think as a noble, I have, like, certain, like, I can get an audience, so I think that's how we got here, maybe. But,
That's basically what happened. You basically said, "Take me to your leader," and they're like,
yes, ma'am.
"Okay."
And,
It seems like the question is either that or fight. I don't want to fight a dragon. Yeah, and then they basically like, all right.
I forgot why we wanted to see the leader specifically, because mostly I just want to go to bed and know where I am, but maybe that's what I'm missing. So, Whisper will, in a polite form of Draconic that isn't so ornate that it might come off as offensive to be extra bougie in a kobold space, just polite enough, she will say, well met. Thank you for giving us audience.
He kind of sits up, like surprised by your demeanor. And then you see him like kind of squint again. It's like
I still have the same body language where like my nose is up and my chin is up, but I'm trying to convey equal terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he picks up on it, and you can tell that he's just kind of like he's just surprised by that because you have Siam talk with you, and you can kind of like tell by the fact that he keeps looking at Siam talk that like he knows who this person is. So, like, have you brought us a prisoner?
Something like that.
Do you know this dragon?
I have bested this dragon.
But you just kind of hear like a couple like. You've bested the Onyx Knight.
Correct.
Like alone? And he kind of like breaks for a second, like, wait a second, hold on.
Not quite. I have these idiots.
And you can like as you say that, you can kind of see that him just now realizing that there are other like races here, like, okay. Really?
Yes.
Well, I suppose that's the resourcefulness of Dragonborn for you.
This is all Draconic, right?
Yes, he's speaking Draconic.
You guys do notice that you're finally being paid attention to.
Yeah, like there's definitely a different. The change in his demeanor was pretty stark once the conversation started because he went from like regal to almost like inquisitory. He's just like, what? Really? What? This is so strange.
And maybe the way Draconic is forming to maybe the word Siam talk drops at some point, so you like pick up that, but nothing else.
Yeah, you can hear like the name Siam talk is Draconic, so you would hear that, but you wouldn't know what else was being said.
Yeah, so you can infer that that's what we're talking about. And she's going to kind of be like, as you can probably expect, the Onyx Knight is my prisoner as consequence of our combat.
Okay.
I need nothing from you but a place to sleep, a place to put my prisoner, and directions for where I am.
He kind of like looks at you like it's too easy. Like he doesn't trust like that's all you want. And you can kind of like tell he's just like regarding the four of you now like.
I know it seems impossible to believe, however.
It just seems convenient that you would just fall from the sky with one of our. You kind of like hear him like hiss. Hated enemies.
He took us to another dimension for our combat. It was great, bloody, and fiery. And when he was defeated, we came back. I have no knowledge of how long I was in that dimension, and I have no idea where I have been placed now. All I know is that I am very tired from combat, and I have reigned victorious.
Well, do you wish to offer the prisoner for this information? Do you have other things that you might want to use or to keep them for yourself? What do you have to offer us? Because at the moment, you seem to be just kind of conveniently here. And I don't trust that.
Nor would I. What would you like? I didn't anticipate coming here today, so I have nothing prepared.
how would you feel about us taking your prisoner?
I would be remiss. This prisoner means a lot to people back at my station.
I have a feeling that you four are the group that have been hounding this other group that has been using my kind as fodder.
I believe that must be true. We have
So-
absolutely been a thorn in the Onyx Knight's side.
If this is true, then you've seen exactly what happens to my kind when they're in the employ of them.
Painfully familiar.
Yeah, like he's referencing the time where like you basically saw a kobold's body being used to like write a message in blood. And he was like, that was a wake-up call for many of my kind.
It was a wake-up call for us.
Hmm.
The lengths that these people are willing to go.
Well, I won't say that you have no idea, but
No, that's completely fair. I don't.
it takes an unimaginable amount of cruelty for kobolds to turn against our own kind, and by our own kind, he kind of like
Mhm.
gestures to you, or even who we thought were our gods. But, well, what's the word the humans like to say? Even the worm may turn?
Something like that.
I don't know.
Do you say that in common?
No, he says it in Draconic, and it's like a weird kind of like, it's like broken, because he's trying to say, like, you hear the word worm, because he doesn't know the word for worm in Draconic. Because worm is a different word, it
Yeah.
means something different in Draconic, like that's a dragon term.
Yeah.
So people listening in common hear the term worm, which is like, and you can hear it in a different cadence than what he was saying everything else in. But you can tell he's like he basically made an idiom that he wasn't familiar with.
So he thinks he's better than us. Huh?
Whisper kind of looks at you like, really?
Like, scared.
And so I gathered who I could and formed this, the Prismatic Fangs. No, our colors meant nothing this time. Our origins irrelevant. And you can see we are not a small number.
No.
And yet we are dwarfed by the army at the command of these other dragons. And yet you say you've bested them.
Certainly have bested 2.
2.
We have also bested the butcher.
That kind of gets some of the guards kind of like chattering as well.
I say the butcher in common because it doesn't translate.
It does not. He doesn't have it. He doesn't. That's not a Draconic thing. But they know who you're talking about. So they may not know common, but they know that.
It's like, it's very like, I give it the draconic level,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the butcher.
Mm-hmm. You kind of like you like see his eyes kind of like searching, as his
Do we still
his
have
brain.
his head in the bag?
Butchers?
Do we, or I thought we, did we take his head?
I don't recall you
I
taking.
don't
it.
have Butcher's
Oh.
head in here. I
Okay.
think he disappeared because he was like.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I think he
why,
turned
but
to
we took
dust.
his head or something.
He basically was like burned up and
Virgin,
immolated
yeah.
because he was a construct of like draconic energy.
Yeah.
That kind of got
Okay.
going
I don't know why I thought we had his head. I thought that would be funny, like, Butcher! Wah!
Probably a different campaign when we started collecting him.
What campaign is that?
I'm like,
Well,
I don't recall ever doing that.
Long road.
Long road definitely 100%.
you guys definitely butchered. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that because we were bounty hunting?
That, you guys are just brutal.
Hey,
Look,
reverse
I
bitch.
don't say you guys.
Hey, I just DM it.
I
people.
I distinctly
you
remember
monsters.
not wanting to kill several
Okay,
persons.
I actively asked if anybody wanted to question her.
You did.
And everyone said, nah.
You did.
So then I
And Saphira wasn't awake.
With everybody except for the person who might have wanted to.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, Severa is like, this is so much leverage we just got rid of. Why? Anyway. No, I don't think you guys have his head.
No.
I don't.
not in the bag.
That seems like something that I would have written down somewhere.
Right, right.
Okay, so he kind of like stares at you. He kind of like is processing this information. Like you can see the gears kind of turning in his head as he looks. He kind of like searches the room for nothing in particular.
Mm-hmm.
We may actually have a chance. Then you kind of like see, you hear him like muttering to himself. I mean, Butcher was a idiot and brute. Powerful nonetheless.
Yeah, fruit.
Correct.
Hmm. Were there any of the others with him when you fought?
Not this time.
So he was by himself. Where did you fight?
At first in Andersville, and then in the elemental plane of fire.
Interesting.
It's a small town.
He kind of like nods, like I'm familiar.
Andersville also doesn't translate.
And yeah, you just hear Andersville.
You can get
Wait, did she say? Yeah.
Yeah.
She said Andersville out loud.
Mhm.
This is gonna kind of bristle at that.
Calm down. We're talking about. He asked where we fought Siam
Trying
Fa.
to get little coordinates, trying to come fuck us up, huh?
No, stop. Cool
Don't
your
give me a
jets.
launch code. Don't give me.
You turning on me, Whisper?
No, cool it. Sorry, we're very tired.
I suppose you have brought us both good news and a prisoner, so the least we can afford is lodging. Though I don't imagine it'll be especially comfortable for, well, peoples of your size. We didn't exactly build this place with Dragonborn in mind. We don't have especially good memories of such people.
That's perfectly acceptable. Honestly, I would sleep anywhere where I knew I would not be interrupted.
Well, I'm sure we could throw a few beds together, or kind of like things about like you'll figure it out.
Certainly.
Yes. And then he turns to the guards that brought the royal guards and also the party that had guided you. Like, yeah, bring them to the barracks, afford them some food, and allow them to rest. We have much to discuss.
He hasn't said his name yet, right?
No, no one asked. Okay.
I mean, we can't.
If I may, patron,
Hmm.
are there any resources you are in need of? We are very resourceful, and we could, as part of our payment for these accommodations, help you achieve those.
You see him kind of think about it, like resources.
Food, water,
Hmm.
weapons, armor.
That part, he kind of like perks up at. Absolutely. Our guards have reasonable armaments, but our scouting parties, as you see, are not quite as well adorned. Some crafted armor would be very helpful, actually. And like you kind of like see him kind of like tapping his chin, like, huh. Access to armor and weapons. We don't have to steal. Interesting.
Listen, Whisper's ready to pull
The
strings.
golden age.
Like you can see, like his mind is like, oh man, this could change everything.
Best I can do is smutty books on a crystal.
And we don't have to give them from our bags. We can just call up a friend and be like, I need 10,000 daggers at this hole in the ground.
That way they can march on
can't.
Andersville.
Well,
I can.
Yes.
We can finally take up arms
That would-
against our worst enemy. Andersville!
Oopsies. Oopsies. We armed the revolution. Whoops.
2 campaigns?
What I mean is, good. Oh no, revolution.
Yeah.
Too long. Too long we've been down in the tunnels. Scrounging for ornaments.
Well, they have a distillery.
They have it all.
Tobacco.
The horses, the arms, the trade routes.
When they football.
the Andersvillians will no longer have domain over surface world!
We will take their water towers, our own.
We will beat them in the plains! We will beat them in the mountains! We will beat them underground! The revolution has begun! Where were they again?
Did you point on the map?
It's
No,
like in
fuck.
crayon. It's like, we're here. There's some mountains
You
here.
are Enemy is here. Here I am being a diplomat. You guys want to fight?
You haven't translated anything for us. All I hear is
Here's-
I'm in the middle of it.
Here, worm. Andersville.
The
Think
butcher.
they're better than me?
No trust in Whisper.
If a kobold calls you a worm, they're probably
That's a
a
compliment.
compliment because they think
We
worms.
don't
because
speak
worms are-
dragon.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
I will admit, like, I think that the first time Des has probably really come into contact with kobolds is probably our first mission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely same for Jonas as well.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Not
typically
the first
deal with
time for me.
kobolds, so she doesn't know how to quite read them. Yet.
they're not especially common, and
Yeah.
where they are found is usually like in the outskirts of, like, not even small towns like yours, like in the wild.
Yeah.
The Yuki family employs kobolds. And gnomes, don't forget that. That was a thing that was canon on day one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Employment. That's why I know
Involuntary employment.
That's why I know Gnomish.
No, if you work long enough, you too can get a hobbit hole.
Oh my
You could be like the
God.
halflings.
Oh my
Oh my god.
God.
Oh no.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
We're
Bad
just
things.
Hurting
we're
my
using
feelings.
fantasy to describe indentured servitude.
I mean, it's at a certain point, it's straight up slavery, but okay.
Yeah.
At some point.
Anyway, what does he say about the? He goes, yeah, that would be great, right? That's
Basically.
what he said.
Yeah,
Okay.
he says, yes, absolutely, armaments would be greatly appreciated and sorely needed.
Absolutely. Then let's talk more once we've rested.
And he kind of like nods and kind of like gestures for you to leave, and then you see the
I do a because dragons don't shake hands really. She does a gesture that typically a kobold would initiate and then a dragon would reciprocate. She initiates as a sign of deference in thanks for helping her while vulnerable.
Mhm.
And she introduces herself. She'll go, "Thank you. I am Whisper Yuki of Andersville's Finest." And she gestures towards her companions. Andersville's Finest obviously doesn't translate. And you do recognize Whisper Yuki because
That was my elaborate map.
Mhm.
on behalf of the team, we thank you very much.
You see him kind of like bristle at the gesture at first. He does return as is he's supposed to, but it doesn't come naturally to him. You can see him kind of like nod and like he
Sorry, I know it's weird. I just agree.
the realization like how he was like kind of like thinking it, and now he's come back down. He's like, now he's a bit more uncomfortable.
Sorry,
But he doesn't rebuke it. He just kind of bristles. And
I know that wasn't customary. I'm just very very grateful.
and he introduces himself as Teresa of the Prismatic Fangs.
Much thanks, Teresa. This is Jonas Budoxith, obviously doesn't translate. Desirastra. and Addie Groomskewer.
That comes with finger guns and a wink that looks like a blink.
Because you have an iPad.
Because I have one eye.
Are you gonna do the thing?
It's been so long.
Did we just say it was a straight roll?
Yeah.
He does not like it. It's a 3.
Oh. So he kind of like glares at you like, what is this weird?
Yeah, she does that.
This is the hat tip.
Yeah. He kind of like hisses a little bit under his breath. He doesn't.
Yeah, I don't like.
He doesn't like actually say anything mean, but he's just kind of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't like it
Swear to
either.
God, go anywhere in the damn place.
He deeply prefers finger guns.
You deeply prefer the middle finger, I'll tell you what.
Don't be mean, I say in common.
Like, this has been a fucking cordial situation.
It's been very cordial.
Hissing.
Okay, the hat tip is weird.
The hiss is weird.
To be fair, that's 70% of their language. Is a hiss.
It's all hissing.
How do you know?
Scaring hissing.
Anyway, say thank you and follow the guards to our rooms.
Like every single time we've been in the presence of Kobold, they're trying to kill Des. She's not particularly excited to be around Kobold.
No. This might be cordial. It's not supposed to be comfortable. No one
Yeah.
here is happy about this
Des
situation.
is incredibly she's not got her hand on anything trying to imply anything, but she's definitely ready to like.
And Whisper, is cold as ice in every interaction. So even though she's cordial, just being very polite, there's still an iciness.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of turns to you guys and she goes, "Say thank you and follow the guards to our rooms. They're giving us space to sleep protected and safe tonight. And then in the morning, we're going to give them a hand in exchange for accommodations. They also hate Siam Tuck and the Butcher. They're very impressed by what we can do. We're going to talk about this potential allyship in the morning.
Alright.
It's going to be nice."
I don't even know how to say thank you. What do you say?
Just do this gesture. And she does it's a common thank you.
Mm-hmm. he kind of just regards you. He's like, okay, better. He definitely didn't hiss at you this time. He's just kind of like, he goes from like glaring at you to be like, so you can see his eyes kind of like soften. He's like, okay,
You have the insight skill to know that
we're just trying.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he can tell that you're trying. So it's like, okay, it wasn't like an aggressive gesture. It was just like you doing a thing that didn't translate.
He looks over to you. Do you speak common?
Nothing.
No. The way that he stared at you blankly tells me no.
Oh, okay.
Oh, in that case, I say thank you in Orcish, because obviously he doesn't speak common,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe he speaks Orcish.
No.
I say thank you in Primordial.
He kind of like looks at you, and then he looks at Addie, and then he looks at Whisper, and he's just like confused.
I don't know. They're weird. They don't mean anything by it.
Okay.
They're just trying to connect with you.
I'm going for a hug.
I told them to tell you.
You're gonna get stabbed several
No, I
times.
stop you. I stop you.
I'm not an idiot.
No, she says, I tried to tell them to tell you thank you and they don't want it. So they're just trying to see.
Okay.
Let's move on before this gets
All right,
worse.
all right. Come on,
Let's
come on.
Yeah.
hurry this
Come on,
along.
come on,
We don't
come
need to play.
Thank you again.
We
Come
don't
on,
need to
come on.
play family members in this. It's all
Maybe you don't.
diplomacy.
Come on.
You trying to be their family?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Kind of would.
Hurry,
It kind
hurry
of
up.
changes the
Hurry
circumstance.
up. Get your ass out there.
Anyway. But yes, they lead you down the more well-crafted hallway down towards the larger antechamber. Right, so brings you out to the atrium and leads you down to a small side tunnel where you can see several other kobolds kind of like making way for you. They bring you to not unreasonable. It's not a large room, especially considering that it's made for kobolds and it's a little bit cramped for the 4 of you, plus the Soundtalk's body. But you can see like there's like 10 or so beds, kind of like ordered in a few lines, and like as a barracks. And you kind of look at them, and they're, the bed might be 5 foot long, which all of you, I assume, are taller than 5 feet.
5'10".
6
So it's
That might be 5 feet. Are these
Fair.
beds are they like flush with the ground and they're just kind of like bedding on the ground, or is it more like raised on like pavilion or something?
There are like crude frames for them, so like they are lifted off of the ground, but it's like wooden frames, and like they lash together with just rope and cord.
Yeah.
There are enough that you could put them together and form a sleeping surface, but it would be awkward because you have to like sleep on them sideways, and like you could probably fit 2 people per.
I mean, we also
Is
have.
this shared quarters
Hacks.
with other kobolds?
There are no kobolds in it at the moment. You don't know if there are usually kobolds here. It doesn't look especially like there doesn't seem to be like people's belonging or like people's belongings strewn everywhere. It seems to be an empty one at the moment.
Okay.
I do
It's like
ask a guard if we're expecting roommates before they leave. Because, like I said, I don't want to be interrupted in my rest. So I will ask a guard before they leave, like, hey, are we sharing a space with anyone? No. So,
He just kind of shakes his head at you.
okay, thank you very much. So, as Des is trying to figure out if anyone else stays there, I don't know if she says anything out loud, because Whisper will not know unless you say something.
She's just kind of like walking around, like investigating stuff. She's
Guard
examining
says that
the
we
space.
don't have to share with anyone, so that's good.
Is there a guard at the front of this place?
No,
There are guards that like walk with you,
Okay.
so they're still there.
Oh, where are we putting Siamtak? Because I did ask for
Oh,
somewhere to put him.
Yeah, we need to put him in a cage.
Ah,
So I think maybe the thing is to drop you guys off at the room and then follow the kobolds to
Mhm.
a
to the
cell.
break.
I think I might bring Giannis with me to make sure that we magically fortify the cell.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so Des and Adi are staying at the thing where like you guys tell me what you want to do with that room, and then Jonas and Whisper, we can go there. The guards are going to like kind of tamp their pikes because they got like these not ornate pikes, they're just like standard pikes, but kind of like taps it and then motions for you to follow him. And he brings you out tunnel into a different part of the cavern system, and you can see like there's like these crude kind of bars like set up, and there's like 3 or 4 cells, and there's just one cell has a kobold in it, the other one and then the other 2 are empty. So he kind of like opens one of the, you see him kind of like take out a little like ornate key, and like ornate, by ornate I mean like it's complicated, like you can see like it's like a twisting almost lock, and you see him kind of like, and it takes him a second, and then you hear it click, and he opens it up.
Did you build these or find these?
Elves.
Elves. Oh, good to know.
So I will keep Siamtak restrained because he doesn't need any favors.
Mm-hmm.
And I will gently place him into the dirt and kind of shuffle my way backwards out of it because I assume it's probably a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
it was made by elves, but it's still not tall enough for me because I'm giant.
Yeah, the cells are like elven iron, so like you can tell by it doesn't match the stonework or anything like that. It's just like kind of like probably iron that they found and just stole, or whoever they acquired it. We don't know.
Listen, I am not judging today.
Yeah, and then like you can see, you can hear it kind of like, you hear the door close, and you hear like click 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 click.
Jonas, I brought you here in case you have
Any idea how to make sure that he doesn't get out of this?
As long as he stays hogtied and he stays, I guess gagged would be the word, because he like covered his mouth too.
Mm-hmm.
He won't be able to form any kind of magic.
He's also independently physically very strong.
He is. You would have to be able to find a way to use leverage to break the manacles.
I could.
Samduck is a very large dragon, so
I wouldn't have anything that I could. I mean, I could sleep out there and keep watch, but that is.
if you guys are looking for like a spell for this,
I don't have a glyph or anything like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are like, I'm not gonna limit you specifically to like the spells that you can only use because like you're looking for some way to magically reinforce.
Because what I did last
That's
time
fine.
is I was ready to do counterspell if he tried anything.
Sure.
Well, nobody ever asked this. I have an alarm spell.
But I have one. I have one spell slot left, and it is a fourth level spell slot. But
If you don't have anything, I will go back because
Basic-
I didn't want to grab the whole group. I thought that would be
Basically, the
overwhelming.
idea that I'm going to give you here is the same way that I allow you to like do Arcana checks to do silly things with magic because the magic in the game is kind of tied weirdly to itself. It insists on itself, Lewis. Anyway, if you're trying to do a thing that you don't have a specific spell for, that's fine. You can magically enhance a lock. I'm gonna require an Arcana check, and then we'll see what happens.
yeah, I can do that.
But yeah, like just like I'm saying, like don't think that you have to have a spell for a thing to do a thing. You just have to, they're just going to do something else. Like you'll have to do a check to see how effective it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Or if you fail, something bad might happen because using magic in this game is crazy like that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I always forget.
Yeah, you almost forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't though.
I should hope so.
So like I said, going about this right.
Mhm.
Am I burning a spell slot to do it?
Why don't you do a check and we'll see.
Okay.
It also depends on how effective you want it to be. If you want to use your spell slot to do the thing, then I will allow that, and that will.
Yeah, I'll
increase
use my
the
last spell
effectiveness
slot.
of it.
It's my fourth spell.
Okay, so you're gonna use this fourth level spell slot in order to. Okay, so what's.
Essentially, I want to put an arcane lock on his manacles. So like
Okay,
he would need to use some form of magic to break them. You can't physically break an arcane lock.
sure.
That's hot.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
It's an 8 plus an 8, so 16.
16 and a fourth level spell. Okay. Just write that down. Jonas. Magic one. Manacles. Talk. Okay. Okay. And then you said you got a 16?
Yeah.
Okay, well. Spell slots. Plus 16. Okay. Good to know.
It should do something to defend.
I'm not going to give you anything definitive
There you go, there you go.
because you're kind of like playing it kind of loosey-goosey with the rules here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do a thing. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay.
Cool.
You sharpen it.
Move past the front.
She figured it out.
Last thing before we allow you to take a long rest. Des and Adi, do you guys want to say anything or do anything before the long rest?
So this room that we're in, or
Mhm.
I guess carved out space. I'm assuming it's pretty rough because it's a barracks kind of situation.
Yeah.
Small kind of room, so there's no other visitors. So there's probably like 8 beds in here.
10. 10 beds.
10 beds. 10 beds in here. There's no doorway, right? Or is it?
There's a doorway. There's not a door. Basically, it's an open. It's open, but the way to the atrium is like a long winding path, and there's like a few branches.
Okay.
So
And you remember I did say something along the lines of uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah.
So you can only assume that's what I asked for.
I think
Do
it's
we-
time to get out.
Do we
to
still? I'm sorry. Do we still have a dragon orb on us forget.
No, we
You have no idea what happened to the dragon orb.
yeah, and we
Okay.
returned the one we did have to.
Oh yeah, the one way.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mostly
We did
just
the whole
meant, 'cause,
ritual.
like, if we did, I would want to safeguard the door.
Oh, we do have something. We didn't know what it was. It was a similar dragon orb, but we didn't know what it
We have
was.
elemental orbs.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
There was there were 2 orbs in our last fight.
Yeah, they're
There was the dragon orb itself, and there was something that was like you said was like almost like a quasi dragon orb. Like it
we
was.
have a lesser magical fire essence, a geomagic rock, frosty magic rock.
I may have described it as like an element, like something that is attuned to an element.
Yeah.
Kind of like a dragon orb is
Yeah.
attuned to
That's
elements.
what you see. It's kind of like a quasi kind of thing. Yeah.
I can understand why you would think that, but there's nothing draconic about the
Okay.
nature of those things. I just described it that way because the way that the dragon orbs operate in this world, they are tied to an element, a plane,
Yeah.
and they become attuned to that plane.
Okay.
So the dragon orb of fire will have fire properties,
Yeah.
and if you have like, it's just one of those things where like there are other things that have that property. So like, I think the one you're talking about is the orb of like Earth, where we found that, and you also have leftover Earth elemental essence that you beat the Alep, the Shadow Earth
Yeah.
amalgamation nonsense dragon, and basically you have a item that you can use to craft or something with, basically.
Okay.
'Cause that's the idea, is that I gave you these essences to like basically craft into something. Okay. Anyway. But anyway, to answer your question, no, you do not have the dragon orb on you.
Yeah.
And
What?
you're not quite sure what happened to it after it got dunked into like lava in the elemental plane of fire.
Well, I mean, so
Well, he swallowed it. I thought.
He did, and then but the point is you don't know what happened after that.
Okay. Yeah. We never saw it get dunked into lava though. Like he.
Well, he swallowed it, and then you all went into lava.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, I would like
You didn't see it physically go into lava, but you saw him go into
Yeah.
lava.
Yeah. I would just assume it would still be him if he's still here.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair. That's that is a logical place to go.
I would like to, at the doorway, like the opening of the doorway, I would
Mhm.
like to use an alarm spell.
Okay. Do you want to wait until everyone's in there before you do that?
And it doesn't say
Whisper walks
really
in.
say-
Hi, how are you?
It doesn't say I really need to because I can designate people who don't trip it.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
So I was just going to designate the party as people who don't trip it. And I'm going to make it a mental alarm for me, not an audible alarm.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So it's just, I know who's coming and going.
Well, let's see if that works.
Hell yeah. Alright, so the whole doorway opening now has basically a bypass alarm that every time someone who isn't one of us passes through, I get a mental alarm that they've been in.
Very cool. Alarm aunt.
And that's, I think it says it can ping me from anywhere from a mile away.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty far.
Very cool. Okay. In that case,
For 8 hours.
if no one else wants to do anything before you guys take a long rest, we can take a long rest. Okay, and we're gonna cut off that one for now. We're going to seems like a good place to go to our next episode. Finally got that long rest. I know everyone was very, very worried about having only the one spell slot,
But it's
but
the last one too.
yeah, luckily it all worked out.
Out of luck. On the spell slots.
No, you weren't out of luck. See, because
I'm mad at luck. I'm mad at time. Anyway,
Out of my head when you're not around.
very nice.
I aim to please.
But thank you for joining us at Lizards in Location present Pillars of Creation. Let's just go straight into our sponsors for the day.
Oh my god, our awesome sponsor for the day is Goblin's Notebook, where you can keep all of your TTRPG information in a really cool notebook that references itself so that you can find stuff super easily. John over here uses it all the time for like 2 or 3 different campaigns and one-shots and all sorts of homebrew awesome stuff. If you use the code Lizards20, you get 20% off the first month of your subscription to their premium service of TTRPG notebooking. And I would recommend it because, well, they're awesome people, it's an awesome product, and
That's it. That's pretty good.
That's kind of a whole summation.
I like those two things.
You support them, you support us. You get yourself an awesome subscription to an awesome notebook. You can also listen to our ad partner for the day, 5 GMs in a trench coat, by following the link that John likes to put down in the description.
Will they ever describe how they got in the trench coat?
I'm not sure.
I hope so.
I think they recently invited a new GM into their trench
They
coat.
did.
6 GMs in a trench coat?
No, because they lost one first, so it's still
Oh.
far.
Oh, okay.
But with an all new GM just for y'all. So do that, and then head over to our social medias: Instagram, Facebook, Mastodon, Bluesky, Twitter, and Patreon to support us and get awesome homebrew content and
To
art.
deport us?
To deport.
Yeah.
Don't deport me.
Deport
art
me,
that
bitch.
I can't really charge you for because I hate, gatekeeping art. So there's free art on our Patreon. What? Go over there, follow our thing. You'll get cool art. Then you can follow at a slightly higher cost to get homebrew items that are really cool.
Sounds good to me. We know we could also do to support us, and it's free.
What could you?
You could go into the whatever the heck thing you're listening or watching this on and hit the subscribe or follow or whatever they do on other podcast networks that I'm not quite sure of. But just put us into your life. Put us onto your feed and click the like buttons, click the follow buttons, all the buttons that do the things that you want us to do. Just click them all. Every
Be in
button.
your mouth.
Leave a comment.
Do it with your mouth. Yeah, for sure.
Go into the control panel and speed up the episode because then YouTube thinks that you're actually a person.
Love that for us.
And you can listen to us talk really, really quickly, and I think that'd be funny.
It's still pretty legible if you listen to it at 1.25 speed.
I'll take your word for it. Anyway, Mary,
Ah!
there's a day that
Whoa.
is today.
Holy
But there might
shit!
also be a question for
Whoa.
the day.
Whoa!
What would the question be for the day if there was a question for the day that is the day?
What's your favorite barbecue?
Listen to that at 1 quarter.
What's your
Yeah, right?
favorite
I had the same thought in my head.
What's your favorite what?
What's your favorite barbecue fixin'?
Ooh.
It's
Why
barbecue
is
day,
it?
4th of July, Memorial Day, I don't know, whatever.
What day is it?
And if you're not Southern, fixin' just means side. And assume that there are burgers of some variety, meat of some variety already there, and that's the main attraction, the main hullabaloo. Is your favorite fixin' corn on the cob, potato salad, coleslaw, baked beans? Is it the desserts, deviled eggs, banana pudding? Tell me about it. What's your favorite summertime barbecue fixin'?
My favorite part of that was that you said, is it the desserts? Deviled eggs.
Listen, it ain't real food.
So,
It's eggs!
what's yours?
Oh, that's tough. Mac and cheese usually, but it kind of depends because some people make really good potato salad or coleslaw. And then some people make baked beans with like pork in them, and that's really tasty.
Facts.
And mac and cheese also has to be made really
That's gonna
well
be good.
because, sometimes it's gross. And there's mashed potatoes, which are pretty much always
You're
good.
just naming all the foods. I'm gonna move on. Nate,
Cornbread.
what you got?
Pulled pork.
Good pork?
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork.
That's a main attraction.
Well, that's
He gets it as his main and his side.
Stand aside.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mainstay for me when it comes to barbecue. It's like it's not because there's all different kinds of meats and things you can have.
Yeah.
I specifically
That's what she said.
really look for a good pulled pork.
With the barbecue
But what about
sauce and all
fixins?
this.
Well, I want it like
What
like,
fixes are
What's
you
your
getting
favorite
with your
fixin'?
pulled pork?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Yeah.
Mac and cheese. A good mac and cheese is hard
Yeah.
to beat,
I'm
man.
thinking like a breadcrumb dusting on it too.
Yeah.
Some parmesan
Yeah.
maybe.
A little crunch on top of the breadcrumb.
A little
Yeah.
crunch.
Because like
Yeah.
I do like mac and
That's
cheese,
a
but
little
if the thing is like ribs or something, you can't really go wrong with corn on the cob. That's really good.
That's yours? Corn and cob?
Because like mac and
Can't
cheese
go wrong
is a
with it.
winner all the time. I think it's right up there in my favorite Thanksgiving foods because I'm
Mhm.
Southern. We have
Mhm.
mac and cheese with everything. It's at Thanksgiving.
Doesn't have
We used to.
cheese with everything.
So I'm
People who don't love pizzas.
Wow. Wow.
Well, it's not allowed.
That's fine.
Rip.
But
It's
for
empty.
a barbecue specifically, I like to think I'm killer at making corn on the cob, and I love it.
Make it pretty good.
I'm
You do like a good
I'm
one.
torn. 'Cause I do like mac and cheese a lot, but
It's hard to beat. Like, so my family used to do like scalloped potatoes, like cheesy scalloped potatoes, which are so good.
Oh man.
So it's that one's up there for me.
Is that like au gratin or?
Yeah.
But
But
is that a barbecue food?
yeah, we used to do it for barbecues
That's
all
for
the
John's
time. Especially,
family?
I mean, you put it in
July
July
4th.
4th fucking tin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Throw it right
But
on the grill.
I will say, when you make baked beans just right, like,
Yeah.
oh god, that's winner right there.
I've never been a huge fan of baked beans.
I wasn't either until like I started getting some really good ones.
Like, like I'll eat them. It's
Yeah.
like, that's for sure. But like, whenever someone's like, "Oh, there's gonna be baked beans," I'm always like,
It's gotta be a decent, like, so, like, you gotta, when you, like, tip it,
It's not
it's gotta have, like, a
fun.
decent viscosity to
yeah,
it.
you get that little tang sometimes from the
There's
sauce.
gotta
like
be-
glaze.
The
Yeah.
thing about baked beans
And you throw a
is
little
there's
bacon
gotta
in there.
be
Yep, bacon's the good part.
there's gotta be an absurd amount of meat in it.
Yeah. The meat.
Like,
helps
oh,
so much.
yeah.
There's gotta
The meat
be
and the beans.
a whole ham hock and a whole pound of bacon.
Yep.
Sorry, vegetarians.
I'm not. They're missing
yeah,
out.
they made their choices.
No, just that they won't have baked beans at their barbecue because
Oh.
you're gonna shove all the meat into it.
Listen, unfortunately, I'm Southern, so I cook all of my vegetables with some kind of meat, animal byproduct. Like, if you have collard greens and you didn't use a ham hock, what are you doing?
Mary just likes having a bunch of meat shoved in her mouth.
Yeah, because I love being alive.
And on that note,
And you know what? Same. See you next time.
yeah, we will get it. All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 5 Gyms in a Trench Coat.
Excuse me,
Yeah?
what's that? You want to know what 5 gyms in a trench coat is? Let us tell you.
It's the adhesive that keeps the fragile pieces of my sanity together.
Well, okay, Jesse, what it actually is a narrative-driven TTRPG actual play where 5 friends take turns weaving stories through the tabletop game of their choice.
Of their choice.
Each season?
Each season.
That's pretty cool.
I
We are.
disagree.
Oh,
I feel it's the adhesive.
So, like, you guys aren't all in a trench coat?
No, we're definitely in a trench coat.
How does that work?
Get her.
Before I'm caught, you can check out 5 Games in a Trench Coat just about anywhere you get your podcasts, or you can check out our website at 5gamesintrenchcoat.com. Oh my god, they really are all in a trench coat.